No, it takes a moment.
Yeah, I know. It's on YouTube.
How do I do that?
Well, you can follow the link in Discord to the YouTube app.
Mm-hmm.
That'll get you onto the chat.
Yeah, we're live. Of course, you're probably paused.
Am I paused? I might be paused. Doesn't matter to me. I'm here for the chat.
That's true. It does say waiting.
I see you guys.
There we go.
Hey, there
See,
we go.
Now we're live. Please don't make a loop. That would be bad. Don't worry, we'll edit all this crap out later. This is just preview for all the people who are watching.
We'll fix it in post.
We'll edit all this crap out later.
The people presently here for real are, Bad Logan.
Love you too, Chimmy. Oh, wait, that's Colin's line.
No, my line is it's just a game, Jimmy. All right. Anyway, go for it.
In 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of Mythweavers Live, the State of the Weave. We're obviously here from Mythweavers Meetup in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Mythweavers Meetup 2?
Yeah.
2. In front of a live studio audience of hecklers. It's a studio now. It says studio right here on YouTube, so it's a studio. All right.
I'd throw things, but she'll throw them back.
Yeah, and harder. All right, so we're here live, and we're here to talk about everything about the Weave over the past year, which has been, it's been a year.
It's been a year. It's been fairly eventful.
I mean, where do we start? We start with staff. We should start
with staff. I'll let you read your chicken scratch.
Read my chicken scratch, because this is where I did the writing of the chicken scratch. Let's see. New jobs. You got a new job. You're out of the dumpster fire and into the...
We don't know. It doesn't have classification yet.
Pre-dumpster fire.
Yes, this is job 7. Yes.
Dumpster fire 7.
Pre-dumpster fire. It has not been lit yet. The kerosene, however, has been lit. Chase got a new job.
Chase got a new job.
Man, she's super busy, but she's loving it. Rodrigo got a new job. He's now in the big leagues in IT.
He's over at Google, I believe.
Yeah. He's working for Google as a senior. So he's doing well. Weddings. Chase and Rodrigo got married, not to each other.
Important clarification.
Clarification.
Yeah, and that's actually why Rodrigo is not here this year,
because they're celebrating. Finally.
Their ceremony was yesterday.
Yeah. So congrats, boss, on actually having the ceremony, because I understand that you did all the important stuff during the pandemic. David got a promotion too. I mean,
Dave got promoted. Well, David talked about leaving to go somewhere else, and they freaked out and offered him a bunch of stuff that he couldn't pass up, so he stayed.
Yeah, exactly. They made him an offer he couldn't refuse. So he's doing well. Claire's officially Claire now.
Claire's officially Claire.
Congrats, Claire.
2 days ago?
2 days ago.
Yeah.
Got the driver's license and everything to prove it. Yay, Claire.
She got her social security card.
Oh, the social security card too. So she's got everything she needs. Mm-hmm. All the important stuff. And I guess we can't avoid Ruben.
The not so great staff update.
Unfortunately, we did lose another staff member, not due to COVID this time, but Ruben passed away due to cancer about 3 weeks ago now.
3 weeks, 2 weeks, very, very recently.
So recently enough that we really haven't all had a chance to process it yet.
Yes.
I mean, it sucks to lose one staff member, but hey, losing 2 staff members in consecutive years starts to make us feel like we need to tell each other to take vitamins and make us really feel old. So
you are old.
I am older than you.
Yes.
But okay, damn it. I am the oldest active staff member now, so I am old, feeling mortal. Yeah, so we're not going to process it, Mythweavers. We're going to move on to to better stuff, which is probably the stuff that you're all here watching. You're not here to listen to us banter about ourselves, though we're good at it. we're here to talk about what's going on in the Weave. Sometime in the last couple months, we crossed 15 million posts. So you guys are prolific, crazy prolific. I mean, 15 million posts is
A lot.
about a million posts
Yeah.
a year at this point. So keep up the good work, I guess. We've got more than 700 active games running on the Weave, and we're adding a rate about 50 a month.
Yep.
Of course, a lot of those people are like, I'm playing the game, and then they die. They come back, they regenerate.
We don't have game collapse statistics.
But what we do have is that the median age of games has continued to trend up. It was a little under 2 years, a two-year median for game length last year, and we're now at 27 months. So the old games are sticking around. So keep at it. Don't give up. They will come to you. And we did have another virtual meetup last fall.
We did have another virtual meetup.
So we are we're continuing to do our event stuff. Although Chase getting married, new job.
Yeah. Chase was less involved in this one just because she had that life thing going on.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So
that's pretty much
aside
it
from
from
that. Yeah,
old site.
general stuff, and then
I
Baldr.
guess we're working on a new site thing.
Yep, we're working on Baldr.
All right, so Project Baldr. It's up on the screen behind us. It's great. Which means that you guys can see it and I can't see it, which means my mouse movement is going to be all sorts of crazy. But
Good times.
Yeah, Project Baldr. It is in open beta, finally.
It's an open
We
beta.
announced it last year. It took us 10 months to get into open beta.
And that was, so we announced it last year after we'd been working on it for a year and a
Almost
half.
a year before that.
Yeah, year and a half before that.
Still no line mode.
Yes, there is.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you threatening my cred here?
Those are big.
I mean, so let's just talk about what's going on. We opened the beta back in April, so it's now June. Okay, so almost 3 months.
Yep.
We have 200 active games on the site already. So we definitely have plenty of beta users, which is great.
Yep.
And they're definitely providing a lot of feedback, which is also great. We have more than 100 threads in site feedback.
Yes.
And as a result, a number of you are going to start getting badges here soon, and I'm going to name names. Sarah Cock, Scarecrow71, B. Watford, Piglet, Charming Satyr, Lucian V, Neopopulous. All of you are getting Bug Hunter badges here imminently, and several people who are in this room are like this close to crossing the threshold for that badge. So as soon as we get the art design done,
It's worth
those will show
noting,
up on
so
your profile.
badges are a new thing we can do in Baldr that'll appear as part of your profile. We're limiting it to more, this person was really useful. We're avoiding stuff like, status icons, because you don't want to deal with people using those to select who can get into stuff. And
oh yeah.
yeah.
And so we're continuing to make improvements to the user interface as well.
Mhm.
And B. Watford or however we want to pronounce it has been instrumental in helping us refine some of the user interface, including Dorklorm.
Just because you don't like Lime.
I'm not running with it, but it exists. And here's the site in all its glory in Dark Lime mode. You're welcome.
See? Blood Gem likes it.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. But we will show off that that Watford has been prolific at producing site themes for us. So in
Yes.
addition to being the bug hunter, we're probably going to come up with some other like art
person thingy. Yeah.
award thing. But yeah, we've got everything from what looks like the old site, which Rodrigo's like, you don't need to keep this. If you just want to get rid
Some
of it and
people
move
are
to
attached.
something else. But some people are really, really, really attached to the burgundy and parchment look of what we call OGMW.
Change bad.
Change is
Bad.
bad. Yeah. So classic theme looks enough like it could pass at a glance. So we've got we've got OGMW. You know what? I could probably make it so that the people who are watching the stream see something a little better than this. Because right now they're looking at our face, looking at the stream. Why don't we switch to...
Is your output set up for you?
Oh,
display capture?
Oh, yes, it is.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, I know. I'm learning. I'm learning how to run the stream. I'm bad at it, but I'm learning how to run the stream. Okay, so now everyone can see it. It's a little bigger, a little better, a little more awesome. But really, I mean, from a theme perspective, I like it. But Claire's favorite theme, and this is the newest one. We'll show this one off too. Light beach theme. If you feel like you want to be a little more relaxed on the site, you want to have the sand, the surf, and the beach umbrellas, those are there too.
So one important thing to note, because it's come up a few times in the public beta chat on the site Discord, it's come up in a few questions on the forums, is, well, what if you use colored text and, flipping between themes? We're looking at some options to either kind of have a standardized, if you use one of these colors, it'll convert type palettes. Stuff along those lines, so if one person's designing their post in light and another's designing it in a dark theme, having preset colors that'll flip.
I haven't tested this yet, but I'm pretty sure that we can set that color palette to be a set of variables that then good old B-dubs can take and actually customize the variables for each one of those themes so that the palette matches the theme no matter what theme is selected.
Yeah, so that way, because that's one of the concerns we got very quickly when we started having one person that was working on themes is, well, colors will look different, and we're working on having conversion methods.
Yeah. As far as shout-outs go, we got to give another shout-out to Butchern.
Yes, Butchern has taken the...
personally, almost single-handedly rewritten
the new user guide.
Entirety of the user guide. So anything that you ever possibly wanted to know about how Baldr works is pretty much in this one page here. Working on table of contents. That's
still a living document. We're still
learning, still growing, but
expanding.
Hey, it's so much easier than the old wiki, right? I mean, literally dragging and dropping pictures in and using the WYSIWYG formatting instead of having to know semantic media wiki tech. Yeah. Way, way, way better.
Yes.
So, another shout out to her. Anything else that we need to throw in there?
So stuff that's outstanding.
Oh. The Eric to-do list.
We can throw back to video.
Yeah, we can go back to video here. Fine. All right, we'll go back to video here. So just so you can see me hang my head in shame. Sure.
Eric keeps thinking that life takes precedence over programming.
More work, slave.
Bad code monkey.
No treat.
No
treat
treat
for me. It's kind of dark.
It is kind
really
of
dark.
Could
someone hit the light.
Raise the lights a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, we were trying to show off the screen. An AV tech? Basil's an AV tech?
It was today.
There we go. Okay. That's a little easier
That'll
to
work.
see us at least. One more. Yes.
Hey, there we go. Now
There
we're
we go.
visible.
All right. So here's where you browbeat me in public.
So
Come on, man. I can take it.
we've got a few things that are outstanding that are in the critical category. The top of that list right now is getting the dice tower up to the same level as the dice roller / roll tags in OG Mythweavers. So that's going to be a priority target because now we've got people that are starting games on Baldr, and right now, because the dice tower is still in development heavily, it can't do everything that you could on the original site. So we're going to be working on getting that up to standard soon.
Yeah. So first thing is the design meeting, because
Yes.
I think we got a lot of feedback that the sidebar for dice and games was okay, but
Mm-hmm.
when you have really long dice names, it's not going to work. And if you have image dice, it's probably not going to work. And
Yeah,
So-
we're looking at where dice rolls are placed visibly in the post structure, and
then we had the people who said, I don't want to see them at all. Can you make them just go away?
yes.
We're working on having the best of both worlds.
So, but yeah, so one of the priority targets right now, if not the top of the list actually, is getting the dice tower fully up to snuff before we start expanding it.
Basically. Sheets.
Yes.
Everyone asks about sheets. Mostly they're asking, when are we getting more new sheets, more better sheets? Soon, TM.
Well, you might as well go into it since you brought up sheets.
Okay, so let's just say that on the original site, integrations and authentication were really the bugaboos that kind of drove us to not just upgrade
Yes.
OGMW and move into Project Baldr in the first place. Rodrigo has been teasing apart the parts that we wrote, and the sheet system is more or less self-contained, which made it a lot easier. He was able to, in a span of a couple weeks, get it to the point where he could separately authenticate for sheets, which is great because that means that we can then plug it in more or less directly into Baldr.
That was, for those that aren't familiar with it, we tried to upgrade the site 3 different times in 2016?
That was when we started.
Yeah.
I think we gave up in 2018.
Yeah, we tried 3 separate times. All the stuff was interwoven into vBulletin's core code because high schoolers think they know what they're doing with programming, and
I wasn't there. I wouldn't have known any better.
yeah, it's... So, decoupling sheets was possible, decoupling the rest broke the site repeatedly. Which is why every time people say, well, why didn't you just upgrade the current site? We can't.
Yeah, it's just not physically possible.
It's an unstable mess as is. So the good thing, because sheets are decoupled, it lets us not just move them over to Baldr, but make it easier to make new sheets.
Yes, which
Make
is
it
the priority.
Make it easier to make fancier sheets.
Make it easier for you to make your own sheets, maybe?
Possibly. So one of the things we're looking at, because now when people create their in-post character sheets that are all fancy with field sets and spoilers and all that stuff, now it outputs as straight HTML. Unlike vBulletin with OG Mythweavers, where it was all BB code, and the BB code was kind of sort of HTML, but not
But
quite.
like HTML from the ghetto ages of the 1990s?
Yeah. So the new stuff, when people make in-post sheets, that outputs as pure HTML5, which we may potentially, no promises,
Drop data elements in?
we may be able to just pull all that code and turn that into our sheet template, and only have to do a little bit more to add in, here's where you fill in numbers, here's how it auto-calcs, as opposed to having to write from scratch the HTML for a new sheet.
Question from the chat there.
I hate you, Logan.
It's a valid question.
If there was anything worse that we did, I can't think of it. HTML table, or the
BB code tables were hell.
the absolute worst thing that we did. HTML is more complicated, but for the most part, you don't need to write it if you're just doing basic stuff. Now, if
Yeah.
you want to make super fancy, you actually probably wanted the power of HTML along and were just felt hamstrung by what you could do with BB code.
Yes.
So, the reality is, most people, I think probably 99% of users, after using the new editing tool, have said, this is way better than what we had before.
Now, with the caveat, there's been some initial growing pains just because,
Bugs.
you're used
Many
to...
bugs.
many bugs combined with, and it's the stuff we went through at first too. We spent, over a decade learning BB code and getting good with BB code, and suddenly BB code goes away and we've got a new interface.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's been some growing pains.
The reality is that Envision, who is the software manufacturer that makes the software that we're using, actually took away support for BB code because it's so broken and outdated.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
there's that. More bugs than worm. Thanks, Jim. Dang.
Harsh.
Yeah.
So yes,
The sheets. The game
the
ads.
sheets.
Oh,
With sheets.
sorry. Yeah. Skip that.
We're also looking at, so anyone that's on the Mythweavers Discord has had to verify by this point with Ishmael, which is our custom bot that handles authentication and verification of, hey, this account is connected to my Mythweavers account. I am who I say I am. Ishmael is slated to, at some point, it's a lower priority project, but it's going to start getting sheet integrations. Once Ishmael starts getting all these integrations and the bugs start getting worked out, it's very possible there's going to be a Mythweavers bot spun up that uses just the game features for the bot, so people can have on their Discord servers for their game a bot that can do dice rolls from their sheets and all that.
Or possibly even cross-pull post content in.
Cross-pull post content. Yeah, there's a lot of look at how can we get a Discord bot with more game features, because there's been a lot of questions about that.
Right. I'm actually not logged into Discord at the moment, or we could pull up the thread where you have the external bot that RSS feeds off the site.
Oh my god, yeah. The site can do RSS feeds.
Mhm.
There is pretty much one Discord bot that can handle RSS feeds, and it's crap. So, at some point we might flog Eric until he agrees to add in RSS features to a bot.
Ooh, can we start using Yahoo emails with Baldr to authenticate? Well, the first answer is no, because right now we're not allowing open
Right now you
registration
can't register on Baldr.
But in the future, yes. I think that will be a possibility.
Yeah.
A big problem was the way the existing forum software works.
Yes.
Didn't work with Yahoo Authentic, with sending emails to Yahoo.
Yeah.
Or receiving emails from Yahoo. One of the two. Or both.
vBulletin and Yahoo don't like each other.
No, they're not friends. They will
Envision
never be
community,
friends.
less of an issue.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's that will be a big feature. We mentioned user source formats, game ads.
Yeah.
That's got to happen. And we have, I think, all of the tools that we need to make it happen at this point. We're going to probably provide a better GM user interface.
Yeah.
The big one being, hey, I want to advertise this game for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month.
So
And then it actually automatically unadvertises the way we used to do on OGMW before it broke and we couldn't fix it. Yes. There will not be an infinite number of open game ads without Colin having to manually go in and
Thank God.
close them.
So, yeah, that's because one of the complaints right now we get a lot is, well, I made this game and there's just an advertising checkbox and the filter sucks. And it's like, the filter does suck. That is not the final form we're going to take for game ads.
Yeah.
There will be a forum set up like we've had in the past.
More or less.
Will be, more or less. We're going to be creating something that actually functions as an advertisement center. Plugin is also, I'm assuming it's going to contain the ability for the GM to switch the game status.
That is the most important thing, I think,
Yeah.
at this point, because right now, game status is, well, it has all the features that we need. You have the ability to have a game that's private or public, and anyone can just apply and join. Ones that the GM can advertise or can issue invites, but no one can just randomly join. And you have the ones that people can be read-only. So the reader feature, which was so bad in OGMW, is actually got all of the features that we want it to have in the new site. But what we don't have is that advertising state where people can come and post in the game without being a member, without the GM actually having to tell us, hey, can you go change the status of my game?
Well, that and just, we don't want to leave it where people have to, I want to change my game from private to read only. We don't want it set up where people have to come to us.
Not the middlemen.
We're lazy. We just have to create the plugin so that GMs can do it because the base infrastructure. We.
Yeah, let's be fair.
So, yeah, that's going to be. Thank you, Dow. That's going to be changing so that there's a better
way.
Damn it, Powder.
Yes, that's on there too. It's actually
It is.
literally the next thing on my notes. What do you want? Are you just reading my notes? Why aren't you here? You could read my notes too.
I know. Powderhorn decided he had better places to be
Yeah,
than
why
here
aren't
this
you
year.
here?
Yeah, now we're gonna shame.
Yeah.
It's the 5 minutes of shame for
Tell
Powderhorn.
them we wanted our sequel game.
Shame. Everyone was here wanting to commit war crimes,
We love your
and we
War crime
couldn't, and we're sad.
game. That was a great war crime game.
So anyway,
Yeah, but there's ways.
so
It's just temporary. Yeah. Uh-huh.
thank you, Jimmy. So we're
Yeah, so I think those are the big things. Dice Tower, getting the sheets integrated, which we're pretty close on. The Dice Tower is actually probably a little further off because, to be honest, I think we need something that's more like a spreadsheet. That'd be really awesome, in my opinion. I mean, the biggest thing that people complain about is I got to click on the button and I put in my dice and I submit it to the tower, and then I got to click on the button and submit my dice, send it to the tower. I just want to take the whole bag of dice and roll them on the table and sort out the ones I want.
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's coming.
yeah.
And then the game ads and the ability to actually archive your games. Archive, not delete.
Yes. So right now, Envision doesn't really have a system where you can go, this game isn't active anymore.
Yeah, it's built on a feature that Envision calls clubs, which is essentially like a mini site within a site, which is exactly what we were trying to create with games in
That's
OGMW.
what we want games to have, but
they're like, yeah, so why would you care about it if you decide that this club no longer exists? Well, we'll just make it go away.
yeah. So as far as having an archival method, one doesn't exist yet. It's on the list. It's not going to be like OG Mythweavers where it was, you didn't post for 45 days. Goodbye. No, it's if there's anything auto archive.
I mean, archive is essentially just going to be a flag. You're just going to check the box. It's archived. It doesn't appear anymore.
Yes.
But it's not gone.
I mean,
Which means you don't have to reset all your privacy set.
as he
I knew there
takes more
was
notes.
something that I was forgetting. Privacy settings. Yes. Yes, there will be privacy settings. There will be privacy settings at the thread level for sure.
Oh yeah, private posts, private threads, private fields.
We're going to try and get private text within a post.
Yep.
We're going to try and get private posts. Some level of combination there. It will not be any less capability than we have, but it may be slightly different. It may be easier to do private posts than it is to do private text in a post, which is not really all that different because if it's private and the user can't see it, it's like it doesn't exist. So it's basically the same as private text in the post.
He says all this, but really there will eventually be private text in a post because he also needs to do the language tags, and he said they're directly related.
They are basically the same
So
concept.
since he has to figure out language fields so you can have that integration back, there will eventually be private text because he has to figure out the mechanics for something else anyway.
Leo's got his moment of zen going on.
Yeah.
All right. So that's not an insignificant number of projects, which is why it's still a beta,
Yep.
but it's fully functional.
Yes.
Which I guess really gets us to the big
data
question that
retention.
everyone asks, which is, when are we actually going to cut over?
Oh.
I'm not going to put a date on it. I refuse.
We'll get to that in a minute, Powderhorn.
Yeah, I refuse to put a date on it because everyone has lives,
Yes.
including all of you who are.
So we'll say soon ish.
Kind of.
TM.
We're not going to stretch this out for 2 years.
No.
But we're also not going to say, in the next 6 months, because then life can go crazy and, yeah.
Monkeypox.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's fully functional for everything. It's just maybe a lot harder than it is on the existing site. You can do every type of thing that you would want to do, but
Did you get the
may
rest of that functionality in?
Which functionality?
Drop the lowest, drop the highest.
You can
drop
do
the-
that. You could just manually do it. It's a lot harder. And so I'm not going to argue that
Yeah,
it's ready for prime time.
It's functional. It is not user friendly,
Right.
and the entire tower is going to get a UI change,
Yeah.
partly because of that.
Yeah.
And
fair
at
enough.
some point, the person that wrote the dice tower is going to write the documentation so users understand how to use it.
Why would I write the documentation if we're just going to completely redo it?
I said at some point.
At some point.
Eventually.
Soon.
Ish.
July, August,
Ish.
that time frame.
But yeah, so the dice tower is
Is
a
the
priority
number one
for a
priority.
reason.
Yeah, we get you, Matt.
Yeah.
But even when we get to that point, we're like, guess what? We're gonna set a date, and we're going to switch over all active gameplay over to Baldr. We're not turning the old site off and just putting it in a trash can. That's not going to happen.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you, Chimmy. I can't gesture to you in my love and respect. I'm just going to have to carry on with the data retention. For those of you who have been around the site a long time, you remember the old version of the sheets. And when Rigo set up the old version of the sheet, or set up the new version of the sheets, he said, we're going to turn the old version read-only, and then we're going to keep it around for a while. And a while was 5 years. And that's roughly the standard we're going to apply here. When we make Baldr the primary site, the old site is just going to go read-only, and it's going to still be up. You can still get to everything. Everything is exactly as it was before. You just can't add new posts. Yes.
Eventually, so as we've said repeatedly, so the site will be up for a couple years in read-only mode. Eventually, that's going to go away.
But before it does,
Before it does, all data is going to be preserved in some form that will always be user accessible.
and with the goal that it'd be easy to copy paste it from the retention format into the new site.
Which means it'll be easier to copy and paste from that archival format compared to now where we have color issues all over the place every time
Color
you copy
issues,
from OG Mythweavers
yeah.
to...
There, it may not be 100%. I mean, just let's be real.
Yeah.
The table tags, they sucked. They're not compliant with current HTML standards.
Oh my god, yes.
Spoiler tags, everyone liked them. They're super not compliant with current HTML standards, so we can't even lay it out the way that it's laid out on the old site.
Well, the BB code in OG Mythweavers wasn't even pure acceptable HTML4. It was a horribly bastardized version of HTML4 that
most
wasn't compliant
browsers-
with HTML4 standards.
Yeah, most browsers were able to represent it. Kind of. Barely. Most of the way. Ooh, excellent question. Do you really have the staff to support both sites as active?
So,
I mean, it's what we're doing right now.
yeah, it's what we're doing now. It's not really been an issue. And, I mean, once the transition happens where Baldr becomes the active one, what that actually means, like Mythweavers, OG Mythweavers goes to read-only, which means you don't register on it anymore. You won't be able to. New posts won't be possible on it anymore.
The support system is so much better on Baldr. It's just it's not
so
even comparable.
Everything's going to be accessible, but you're not going to be making new posts on OG Mythweavers once we hit that transition point.
Right.
So registration goes to Baldr, posting goes to Baldr. It's all that shifts over.
The reality there, I think, is that we can't keep it up indefinitely with both sites.
Right.
And so that's going to drive us more than any whip that Colin can ever wield in my direction.
Yeah.
I know you want to.
You like it. So yeah, and then we
talked about we're going to keep data forever.
Yep.
Some way or another. We can't directly migrate it because the HTML format's so bad. We tried. We really did. And Watford has done a great job of writing an article on how to get the data from one to the other.
We are working on at least making it so the copy paste from OG Mythweavers over has fewer issues. Because right now we're getting a lot of background color problems and text color problems. So we're working on at least mitigating
fix most of the background
small
problem.
issues. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's probably in that 6-month time frame where we would like to be able to announce a date.
Yes.
And probably by the time we get to Mythweavers Meetup 3.
Yeah, next year's Mythweavers Meetup. So
should be pretty close to that date. But don't hold me to it.
So Timber, yes, somewhere between 6 months and 2 years. Although target is significantly below 2 years.
Ish. Yeah.
Ish.
Sooner is better for us, so we are working hard to make it as soon as we can without messing with anyone else.
Yeah, the big thing is, we'd love to be able to transition things in the next 2 months. The site's not at a point where we can do that.
Nope.
We will not force the transition until the features are where they need to be comparable to OG Mythweavers.
Yep, that's the truth.
Once the functionality, the sheets, all that are at a level where it's at the same point, then we're going to look at setting the date and getting the transition to happen. And then from there, we get to do our initial release, and then we start expanding the capabilities beyond what OG Mythweavers could ever actually do.
That is the reality. We wouldn't have done this at all if we could have met all of the user requests with the existing platform. And that's the thing we say repeatedly is we did not want to have to do this. Really did not want. But we took down the site hard with crashes 3 times, and it was like 3 to 5 days each time of the site just stuttering out every time it was restarted. Change equals bad. Yeah, fine, whatever.
Thank you, Logan.
I don't believe that.
You stated it, and now it's preserved forever in a YouTube video. Lucky you. We don't have to screenshot. It's already doing it. Yeah, we are trying to avoid
Powderhorn, shut up.
Making changes that are painful.
Damn
Mythweavers
moderators.
VR. Write it yourself, man. Come on, Jimmy.
I didn't have to ask.
Virtual tabletop.
We're still gonna ask.
Yeah, not right now.
Foundry
Look,
integration?
the entire journey of creating Baldr has been one hell of a saga already. We can look at additional features as we go forward. Virtual tabletop, I want to know what programmers are devoting their lives to us for no pay.
Right. Because that's the reality. When it comes down to it, this is a site that is maintained by volunteers at no cost. And pretty soon, there'll be basically no cost for anybody.
So, and that's... shut up, Powderhorn. I don't care how much of a pain in the ass you are in chat, you're still not getting out of moderator.
Yeah.
Temporary.
Yeah.
He whispered in his madness.
Yeah.
Anyway, going back to Powderhorn's earlier question, yes, Baldr is going to be shifting to completely ad-free.
Yep.
That is partially because, significantly because we're getting less and less out of Google's advertisements.
That's part of it. But the other part is we've got a lot of community supporters who are basically making the site run with their little donations.
So
thank you You, and you, all of you who are our site supporters.
Yes. So, and then it's as we start getting into fancier features later on past the initial release, that's where community supporters are going to start to get early access to fancier stuff. There might be certain things where community supporter gets those benefits.
I heard this before.
Yeah, I know you've heard this before. We've talked a lot about this, Logan. So, it's going to be similar to how it's set up on OG Mythweavers. You get a few small perks from being a community supporter.
There will be features too.
There will be features. Nothing that, if you're a free member, you're always going to be able to do the base level, play a game, make character sheets, all that. We're not going to restrict what you can currently do in the new site. Just community supporter might actually get access to some fancier stuff.
Dark wine.
As opposed to OG Mythweavers, where there was always the promise of early access to new features.
Map Maker?
Map Maker's not coming back. That was a disaster. When people ask, well, why won't you give us definite dates for things to happen? The attempt at a map maker, that's why. That was a disaster.
I just want my access back to what was there. It was amazing.
So,
Maybe we should just go by the Ditzy code since he deprecated it. Use that as starting.
Shut up.
Start talking.
Okay, so a question would be, if we're going to get rid of Google Ads and we're not adhering to Google rules, will we have a in-house rule on explicit content?
Absolutely. Rodrigo, I think, has made it very clear to both of us that he doesn't want to run that kind of site.
Sure.
So
I agree.
we're going to keep it 13 plus friendly. And obviously, we don't have to be
it's probably
child
going to
friendly, but
loosen up a touch.
We're not going to have to.
Just because we don't have to meet
Yeah.
the Google ad standards
Yeah.
anymore.
If we say words that are bad, no one is going to come around saying you used an asterisk anymore.
We're taking away your revenue stream. Yeah. So things will loosen up a touch. There's no definite on how. The one definite is smut is still not going to happen.
No 18 plus content.
Yes.
In that loosen up, I know sometimes the things that's been tough for people is trying to figure out how to pick. That's not all stuff we do behind the curtain, like torture stuff. I'm not saying to get super specific with that, but maybe loosen up a little. Is that something you're talking about?
A bit, yeah. It's
Obviously, again, not trying to get like.
yeah. We're not like when we say loosen up a bit. We don't mean we're going into like Saw levels of torture content are now allowed.
Yeah, that's way past the
But
pale.
things will loosen up some, and we will. That's going to get revised in the rules with clarifications and such. Nothing's written yet, but
Because obviously we're not ad free yet, so we can't even talk about some of it on the old site.
yeah. So yes,
There's probably going to be some loosening of like recreational drug use.
yep. There's going to be some loosening up that we care less about because
Because we're not worried about Google showing up with a cease and desist order. Community stores can always say poop. And doo-doo head is allowed.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of
Yes, you're included in the any other questions.
we kind of ran out. Oh no, well there were a couple of.
We already covered archival.
Old archival.
Oh, I know what he's
Like
talking about. So the pre-2012 stuff on Mythweavers is a nightmare to find right now
Yeah.
because of the last time there was a successful site update back in 2012.
That was the Game Forge.
Yep, that was the Game Forge, and yeah.
Yeah.
So all the content exists, but right now, God, it's horrible trying to find it.
Eric was nice enough to do one for me.
Yeah, I mean, we can track it down. The challenge is that even if we find it, migrating it is just a real pain because the game structure is completely different on Baldr than it is on OGMW. I mean,
I think he just means making it easier to find in whatever the ultimate archival state is.
I will take that as a lookup, because if you've been around that long, some of my games have been around that long. If you are listening to this and you are part of Odd Jobs, that game is about to hit 15 years.
Kind of.
15.
Kind of.
It has been running for 15 years.
We've had a year of downtime.
I've been writing Baldr. You're right. I've been doing a lot of things and not posting.
Me too.
However, the game started in 2008, and MZipser is still in the game, having not given up for that period of time. So I feel like I owe it to him to keep this one, running until everyone dies.
So what do we do?
Right.
I'll make that happen.
Yeah, you'll make that happen. Good on you, Basil. So yes, I'm committed to preserving content, about making things available. We don't delete anything ever until we get GDPR requests, and then we even then we obfuscate it so that it's not attributable to the user who asked for their personal stuff to be deleted.
Yeah.
Because games are a collaborative exercise. It says so in the terms of service.
Powderhorn. Speaking of dates, remember join dates and post counts able to be preserved?
Yes.
Yes.
Asterisk.
So right now, about once every week, once every 2 weeks, there's a tool that gets run to migrate new joins
No.
over.
It migrates everything.
So it migrates. Well, no, you found a workaround to just hit a target
Okay,
range.
that is true.
Yeah.
But
Every
then-
time it runs, it resets all post counts to the Baldr posts only. And the transition over may have screwed up a few join dates, all that. Once we hit release and registration opens on Baldr, Eric gets to figure out how to fix the join dates and the post counts. But right now we're not doing it just because every time that tool runs, it resets all that.
Yeah. But the brilliant thing, that part of the work that Rodrigo has been doing in the background that no one really cares about, is we actually have a live copy of the database that's being run, so we don't actually have to take down the site
Yes.
to synchronize.
Yeah, that's a big one, because otherwise we'd be dropping the site every week. So,
Yeah, that'd be bad.
Now it's when we do that sync for Baldr to move accounts over, no one knows it happens.
Except for all the people who are on Baldr saying, why did my post count suddenly go from
Yeah,
18,000 to
except for
3? Sorry.
Yeah,
We'll fix it later.
that's the tool. There's nothing we can do about it doing that. It'll get fixed
Soon.
once we hit
Ish.
release.
TM. I like Timber's comment there that community supporters are like athletic supporters because they're holding up the junk.
Yeah, that's fair.
We're not holding it up.
Right. I mean, the integrated store feature also means that Rodrigo doesn't have to pull his hair out with Stripe integration
Oh
on the
my
old
god.
site. So that hopefully we don't have Leo asking every month, what's up with my Discord community supporter status going away?
Yes, we did fix it.
Oh, finally.
Yeah. Colin actually did the work. He got on lazies. He had to build their tiers.
Damn it, Matt.
Matt asks, are warning points a kind of a reward system for interesting posts?
Yes.
So Powderhorn definitely can't get out ever, but he certainly can't get out before he revamps the whole warning point system.
Yes.
I know he's put some work into it, but we're now actually at the point where we might care about it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, and I have to look at that. I'm still yeah, Baldr has a complete storefront setup. So that's how community supporters now going to be a subscription that way. And it's all so much easier. And then that's also how we're going to be running Mythweavers Meetup registration going forward.
T-shirt sales.
There's a few t-shirt designs that are going to be happening because, well, of course
Beardless
they are.
Colin Funko Pop.
There's never going to be a beardless Colin Funko Pop.
Bikini Colin?
Bikini Colin Funko Pop?
I have the source picture for Beardless Colin.
You could probably get someone to turn it into a 3D model so we could resin print it and then someone could paint it. Amy would paint it.
Yeah, Amy would paint it.
Yeah, she would. World of Farland hardcovers. Yeah.
Maybe. Maybe.
If he wants to.
I'm currently prodding him about that. Because Mythweavers has been kind of the home site for the social side of World of Farland. So yeah, we're prodding him about, hey, do you want to offer PDFs? Do you want to offer other stuff? Yes, Logan?
Absent Wizard sent me a script to read to you.
Oh, God.
He wants to know if on the new site in the store, if community supporters that have interesting D&D content will be able to put their own content up in the store.
Most likely not. So this has been...
Then he asks, if not, is there a place where we can ask for exceptions to be made? Because some people make really nice dresses here, and some people make really nice hats, and I would like to support them.
All right, so somewhere up here, there's the link for help, support.
Right next to
I'm
home.
trying to do it over my shoulder, which is impossible. Support. Where you can put a support ticket and ask. And that goes to the whole staff, which means that it's a lot easier for us to get back to it and not have to worry about people randomly PMing an individual.
So
I'll do a support
the
question.
general thing, so we've actually discussed, because we have members that make cool stuff in
Or
a
write
small
cool
business,
things.
or write cool things, all that. And the problem we ran into every time it got into serious discussion is, well, if we tell someone, no, we're not going to put that on the storefront, then it turns into, well, why can they have their stuff up, but my stuff can't? And it turns into accusations of bias and favoritism, and I'm not paid anything for this. I don't need that kind of headache.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yes, there will be a bearded Colin Funko Pop.
Shut up.
Gloria will commission it. And then she'll have one on her desk.
She would, just to piss me off.
She absolutely would. And then she'd take pictures of it and post it on social media.
Okay, so I got a question. We're talking about supporters, talking about physical money to the site. As far as Baldr is concerned right now, what can people do to help you without the people that can't just throw money at it?
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys need, and what expectations do we have going forward? You already have bug finders and that kind of stuff. What could other people be doing? What would be assisting to you guys?
I know that's a me question. Right now, the major focus with Baldr is bug finding and honestly people understanding that yes, it would be awesome to get this feature fully up to snuff. It's not going to happen in a week. Eric has to eat and sleep at some point and still work a day job. Yes, we know for you sleep is, well, I need to do this. What can I cut out of my schedule? I don't need 6 hours of sleep a night. Yeah.
6?
That's why
right.
you're getting
your license. In a few months, she'll be able to drive herself to all this crap, and then I'll have more free time. But right now...
But yeah, it's...
No, never mind.
So going forward, we are going to start working on expanding more community activity type stuff, getting more creative content and community interaction stuff going. I'm going to be putting out info as we start getting into that for people that want to help out with that.
Yep.
So right now in OG Mythweavers, you just have the site staff, the mods. With Baldr, we can actually separate out roles, so we're going to be separating out people that want to help with writing some content for, contests, that sort of thing. So we're going to be looking for more people willing to assist with site creative function.
Back in the rain.
The whole permission structure is so amazingly capable. I mean, Butchern, she's an admin, technically.
Yes. By Envision Structures, Butchern and Watford are admins. as far as
They
actual
have this much
permissions,
action capability.
as far as actual permissions, Butchern can go and add to articles. So that's how she's able to go and add to the guide. And
Watford has full access to the theme
access
manager.
to the theme manager, which is how we're getting all these themes. So we're going to be expanding ways the user base can help with things. We're just not at the point yet where we need that stuff kicked off yet. We need to get the site functional to where it should be first before we start going, hey, let's add this, let's add that, let's start adding 4 times a year contests. And
Chimmy's right that just coming and playing is almost
Yes.
enough, because then when you play and you find something and you put it in site feedback,
yeah,
we know about it, we act on it. But we are also going to do some of the things that I actually do for work for a living. We're actually going to be soliciting feedback proactively on user experience items. Like
Yes.
the whole thing about how do dice need to show up, the heck if I know. I mean, I play games, but I write D&D 3.5 games and Warrior Rogue Mage and Rysis, and
yeah.
none of my systems are all that particularly freaking complicated. I don't play World of Darkness. I don't play Numenera. I
Yep.
don't play 80%, 90% of the game systems that are out there. That's the reality. And neither does Colin. Neither does anyone on the staff.
No. So we're going to hit a point very quickly where we start going, hey, we need someone that's got knowledge in this that can, give us info, give us feedback. So, yeah.
Yeah, we will be having scheduled events where we're actually looking for feedback.
Yeah.
Where if you come with your constructive hat on and are willing to tell us how to do things better to support you, we will be able to do it.
Well, we've had
Please
a bit
don't
of
just
that.
come and say, it sucks. That's like the least thing that
We
you can
can't do
possibly-
anything with that statement.
Mhm.
So, and we've had it a bit in site feedback already, where we'll set up a poll that runs for a couple weeks, going, "Hey, announcements have 3 places that they can go. Do you want it on the sidebar? Do you want it
On
on
the
the
top of the
top?
site?
Do you want it, the spot in the menu?
And here's the pros and cons of each.
Here's the pros and cons. Here's photos of how they're laid out in each of them. Where do you want it?" Thank you, Jimmy. Yeah, that's one of the expansions of the Dice Tower, once it's where it should be, is going to include card decks and, yeah. Because, yes, a few systems require card decks to, Savage Worlds especially.
Image dice.
Image dice.
More image dice than we have already done for the old site.
Yeah, so, yeah, getting there. Anyone else?
Dang, that was easy.
Just waiting for you to ask something.
Do you want me to do the rest of Absent Wizards?
No.
No.
Are they good things? If there's anything useful in there, feel free to share it. If it's Absent Wizard trying to figure out whether we've figured out the molecular model of Baldr, yeah, no, we're done
Okay,
here.
so now you don't want me to do it.
Maybe if Absent came here, he could have asked those questions. but-
Yeah, because then we could throw
Yeah.
stuff at him directly.
Yes.
That's really the important
I
part.
don't know, last year you let him keep going.
It was funny.
It was funny. All right. Yeah, I mean, things coming, things changing, chaos, pandemonium.
That, I guess, is the other thing, ways that people can help. It's going to change. We didn't want to have to do it, but we have to do it, and so we're going to do it. The old site will eventually go away.
We are going to minimize the pain as much as possible. That's why the user guide is written now, why it keeps getting expanded as we get hit with new questions, as new little features and plugins get added. Change is going to happen. It's a matter of trying to make it less painful.
Yeah.
Shut up, Logan.
If we can make change good, that's exactly what we're after. I mean, even if it's little things. I mean, I spent 15 minutes figuring out how do we do a better way of indicating that there's new content on the game.
The My Games
little
list.
sidebar up here, if I can find my my cursor there. Yeah, this. Like the original, the only way you could tell was there was a little bit of fade out.
Yeah.
On the
now
content
there's a
underneath.
ring. There's
Now
a
we have
colored ring.
This colored ring that really makes it pop. And of course, even that's a learning process. People are like, well, it covers up part of my icon. Can you make it not cover up part of my... Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Just give me a little work.
Email updates for posts. I believe that's already.
You can
in.
actually already do that.
Yep.
The notification system is awesome. You can set up yourself for email notifications. You can
Yep.
set up browser notifications, push notifications on your mobile devices.
Yep. So yeah, that's you have to subscribe to the forum or subscribe to the particular section of that game.
Follow is the mechanic in Baldr.
Yes.
But you can absolutely do that.
Yep.
There's even an RSS feed too. If that's
There
something
is
you
the
want to
RSS
consume,
feed.
you can set that up for as many feeds as you want. You can actually create your own custom activity streams
Yes.
so that you can get different sets of feeds for the games that you really care about and the games that you don't really care about. Although I encourage you to care about all your games.
It is a little fiddly, admittedly. The filters to set up an activity stream, you can filter so many of the things, it's a little confusing.
Yeah.
Starting out.
You know, we should probably write some user guides for that.
Yeah, probably. It's on the
I can
list.
put one that's on Colin's list. Filter.
Oh, it's cute how you think I've got the background for that.
Subscribe.
I'm gonna throw that at
User
Sarek.
guide.
Sarek's made like 5 filters already. He's like, oh, this is easy. I get this.
I mean, you did enough of it that you could get your RSS feed working.
Yeah.
For
I
your
definitely
game.
didn't just like click a few options and test a few times.
Look, that's the other thing to do. That's the other thing you can do. Experiment.
Yes.
Try things different ways. The site, while people have accused us of being mobile first, that is not the goal. It's mobile friendly is the goal.
Well,
Try it
mobile
on-
friendly is the perk.
Right.
I should
need to be
clarify
able-
that because that wasn't well stated initially.
Mhm.
The change is not to make it mobile friendly. Mobile friendly is a side perk of this entire process. The goal is make it so the site isn't a kludged together mess that'll collapse at the wrong blink.
But we get the mobile friendliness. Try it on your tablet. Try it on your phone. Try it on your desktop. It should work equally well on all of them, or we'll keep working till we make it right.
Yeah, and that's a big thing too, is something that looks fine on desktop might have render issues on your phone. We need to know that.
Yep. Yeah. Like
Preferably with screenshots so we can see what you mean by it
screenshots,
looks
links.
wonky.
Mm-hmm. Tables are fun. People have to learn different things. Instead of making fixed widths, they got to make
Yeah.
percentage widths. Same thing with images. We're going to get there. The out of the box does pixel widths for whatever freaking reason.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're making
So-
tweaks to a few of the core things. So,
So this is just as much of a bastardized version of something as the last site was?
no, 'cause
But-
this uses plugins.
Plugins
Oh.
and overlays, and we didn't go in and change
Yeah.
so that we can't upgrade to the next version.
Gets added onto the plugins, so they don't
Like a
create
blade
a
plugin?
bundle of mess.
Right. The
Okay.
core site. So we've actually gone through 7 or 8
For like 6
updates to the core site.
months. Then you-
Completely seamlessly. All you had to do was push the button and it did it.
Yeah.
And all the plugins worked. It's amazing what you do when you don't bastardize the core code of someone else's product.
Well, even in the early days of the original site, when we could still update, it was hell. Like, they'd have to update and then see if all the stuff they hacked into the core code was stable. And because they were high schoolers, they would push the updates to the production site with no prior testing.
Minimum, right?
There were definitely updates pushed at like 2 in the morning.
We're going
I'm
live.
We're going live! No backups to it first.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
In fact, they didn't even write the code in like some sort of offline thing. They were writing the code on the production site as it was live. That was the best part. All right.
Yeah, the fact that the site is as stable as it is, which is not very, is a miracle.
Shows how talented
It's PHP, so you didn't even need to compile it.
Yeah, it wasn't, if it compiles it goes, it was they were writing it live, and it just automatically went.
They were brave boys and foolish.
Oh, high schoolers.
What you
We
gonna
all
do?
thought we knew what we were doing back then.
Yeah, the one in the room who wants to study computer science already knows that we were bad.
I
Strive to do
think
better.
I think that
One
covers
more important
everything.
question. When will the locks be removed from the Discord?
Shut up,
server?
Leo.
We have no control. There's no ability to theme Discord, or we would. But there is an ability to integrate Discord directly onto the site. I mean,
Well, kind of.
fine, kind of. But we're starting with the hey,
That's really good.
there's Discord membership online.
Yeah, it's that's the Discord base little widget. So it'll show members online, and if you click it, it'll link you over to the
over
Discord
this
server,
Discord site.
which has actually been helpful. But
It's a starting point for the future of hey,
let's
RSS
do
feed.
other stuff.
Hey, if you're having a chat on Discord, can we just log that chat to the site
Yeah. Eventually,
eventually? Soon.
stuff.
TM.
Yeah. Like we've said, the big push is it makes it stable and it lets us do things that we haven't been able to do yet.
So we're going to go do those things.
Yeah. What, half a dozen shelved projects? Last time we actually
Sigil,
stopped and looked.
Redacted. Yeah, about that.
I'll say generators.
Generators.
I'll toss that one out there at least. That's on the
Oh
the
God,
eventual list.
got to make it better.
Yeah.
All right,
We're not
so,
starting another half-hour cheese discussion, Jimmy.
Not cheese.
Any last questions?
Speak now, or come to Baldr and post it in site feedback.
Yes, that works.
We want to
too.
hear it.
I just submitted a ticket.
Submitting
Did
tickets
you
is
really
good
submit
too.
a ticket?
What?
He did.
I hate you. Oh, I tagged you in a ticket. I signed it over to you, by the way.
Dang it.
This morning.
Gotta go look.
This morning.
This morning, aside from writing the notes for this, I was getting ready for the next game session.
Yeah, the next game session, which is kicking off after this.
Jeffrey returns.
You're everything I would like to be, Jimmy. You
All
are
right.
the wind beneath my wings.
So I think that wraps it up
With that,
for. Yeah.
State of the week.
Yep.
Thriving. Come on, man. You got to back me up.
No, God, that was horrible. So, thanks everyone for joining us. Or if you're watching this on the recording afterwards, feel free to go to site feedback on Baldr, ask your questions, toss out your feedback.
Or just go to introductions and say hi. General discussion, anything.
Yep.
Glad to have you. Glad to have all 8,000 plus of you active members on this journey.
Yes.
Keep saying journey.
Journey.
Is it more like any way you want it, or more like faithfully?
Logan, it's a saga.
All right. Thanks for joining, and keep on weaving those myths.